I tested that for about 7 weeks. And I had 900 conversations in Facebook Messenger. That's testing. And I also had 17 sales calls testing. And I thought, you know what? This isn't going to work. Did you see that I actually tested it? Did you see I gave it a real go? I thought, this isn't going to work.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Jeanne Omlor is a business strategist and 7-figure online business coach, also certified as a servant leadership executive coach. Overcoming significant personal challenges, including being a single parent in debt, she managed to grow her online business to $1 million in revenue in just 17 months without relying on ads. In the following 4 years, she scaled her success to multi-million-dollar levels, helping over 400 businesses thrive online. Driven by her own experience of financial hardship, Jeanne is passionate about empowering others to achieve financial success and fulfill their potential while embracing their roles as visionaries. You can learn valuable strategies from Jeanne on how to leverage your existing knowledge to scale your business massively online, achieve financial independence, and create a meaningful impact without relying on ads or complex technology. So, Jeanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here, Candy.
My first question I always ask is, can you tell me a little bit more about how you became involved in being a business coach and working with entrepreneurs?
Sure. So I've been a coach for 13 years, and I first started as a life coach. And after about 3 seconds, I was a business coach because all of my clients needed me to help them. They were all business people, and they all needed me to help them with marketing, clients, bringing money in. And my coach at that point, my very first coach, said, "You are a natural business coach. That's what you are." And of course, there's always some life involved. So I started offline. I was in New York City, and it was just all offline marketing, networking events. And I had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at that time. Then, became 2 and 5 and, grew. But it was really hard because I was a solo parent in New York City, running around, play dates, parks, courses, things, then getting a babysitter and wiping avocado off my shirt and running to the networking event.
Right.
It was completely, I don't even know to this day how I made that happen. I really don't, because it was so much work. So I started there, and for 8 years, and I built that up. So then I got certification as the executive leadership. That was a few years later. And I was just really meeting people through networking events, and I would present at expos and give events and speak at various places. And that's how I got my clients. And really, it's what kept me broke. That's what kept me broke. And I worked and worked and worked and worked. And 1 year I got to 100K. I think the third year in business, I got to 100K. I was like, wow. But really, 100K is not a lot of money wherever you are. And, I thought, okay, I got to get online. And then I went through this life disaster. And that sort of set me back a bit. And then I had to move to another city. And 5 years ago, I was 54 then, and I was in deep debt. A solo parent of 2 kids that were now, 5 years ago, so that was 12 and 9. Okay. And I thought, I have to make this happen, and I have to learn online marketing, and it's going to be hard. I've got a big mountain to climb, and you have to learn a lot. And I thought, I got to do it. So I took a deep breath, and I found any online program, and I plonked down 10K on 3 different credit cards and got into that program. And it wasn't for me. It was like they were trying to teach ads, and I thought, well, I can't do ads. They will not work. They still don't work. And I realized I had to find a really simple way to get clients, and they were calling it organic marketing. I was like, what, like carrots? And that means getting clients without ads. I thought, okay, I'm going to be the best person at this because this is my only option. I realized that was my only option. I just thought, I'm going to get so good at this and figure out a system so other people can do it And I did. And I got people were like, how did you do that so simply? And you have no market, you have no audience and blah, blah, blah. I figured it out. It was a hustle. And I got to $1 million in 17 months. And I had to pinch myself. I thought, I made him. Wow. Because, I'm just a normal person like everybody else. And now, 5 years later, we're at, several million. And we've helped 500 people. So it's been a very humble rise to success, which is very real. Because it wasn't that person that, came out and 30 years old looking like a model. It goes on, goes on Insta and 1 billion views and then blah, blah, blah. No, it was not that. It was older person, knew nothing, learned it, helped other people, built it up, gets great results. It's very real what I've done. I'm proud of that, actually. It's been a very integrated success.
Well, and I would love for you maybe to talk about the steps that you did take to scale your business without those ads, because I know people are listening and thinking, well, I want to be able to do that, and I have no idea where to start. So can you just say like some of those key factors that will help them do the same thing that you were doing?
Sure. Well, this is the rule. Again, whether it's online, ads, no ads, offline, whatever, product, service, you must be crystal clear on what you're selling and who you're selling it to. And you would be surprised how many businesses, coaches or otherwise, are not clear on their product or offering or service and who it's for, because they don't, they just want to like do it, right? That thing of like, not, yeah. If you are not crystal on exactly what you are selling and who it's sold to, that's a basic problem you have on your hands, right? And then, of course, the price. There can't be a question mark on that. So the first thing for any business is, who's my market? What am I selling? And what is the price? You would think that people would know this, but they don't. They don't. Yep. Like when you go into a supermarket, you see the mustard, you see what it is, you see it's for you if you want mustard, and there's a price on it and you buy it. Everything has to have a price and who it's for, right? And some things are for a lot of people if it's mustard, right? But if it's certain type of medicine for somebody with a medical problem, that's for that person with that medical problem. This is what we're doing. This is what it does. And this is what it costs, right? So, or if it's a biking helmet, well, that's for bikers who want a helmet, and it may be a kid's one or an adult one or men's or women's. Usually men and women are the same. And there's a price on it. Oh, that's for the biker. So they don't say, well, gee, we don't know who this is for. We know it's for a biker that needs a helmet, has certain features, and there's a price. So that's the very first thing. And actually, we help our clients get really clear. And when they're clear, they immediately start getting more clients, because they're not selling some cloudy idea that they expect the client to figure out and decipher what it is. I've heard people say that, well, they should just know what I'm doing. How are they supposed to know what you're doing? That's your job.
Right.
What? It's just denial. It's like, I don't want to do that work, or they're scared or they can't figure it out. And a lot of coaches have tried to get help with this, but many coaches cannot help their clients get clear. I mean, we've had stories come in where they'd be like, I've worked with 4 coaches and they cannot get me clear on this. And I work with them and they're like crying, like, oh my gosh, I'm clear now. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to be very clear about who, what, price. Second thing, you have to be very clear on your messaging. That the messaging, you might know who it's for, but if y'all out there don't know, you're not going to sell it. Again, they should not just know. They shouldn't know. You need to make sure that they know, because you have made it so, because you have worked on your messaging. Like, I help XYZ people get XYZ results, something like that, or these people work with me to get this result. So that's the other thing that's broken, that people just expect everybody should just know how great they are. Why? Who said? Who made that up? Like, where'd that, because it just is. Really? That's something I don't know about. You made that up. So there's all these wrong ideas that people just believe out of fear because it's not working. And they're like, well, that's because it makes them feel like they are powerless and they can't fix it. Because you see, when you realize that you can fix stuff and you do not, then you just feel bad about yourself. But if you pretend you can't fix it, well, I can't fix that. Make sense? Right. It's getting out of the denial. Let's face it, do I want this? Yes, I do. Am I all in? Well, wait a minute. Am I? No, I'm not. Oh, how do I get all in? How do I get to the point? because you cannot be a success. No one in this world is a success if they kind of want it. Kind of, sort of, I'll do that because it's sort of fun, and maybe I'll get a client or two because I like having a podcast, or maybe I'll do that because it's kind of easy. But you will not be hugely successful. That's never happened. To be successful, and not like you don't have to be Grant Cardone, but I mean successful, you need to be all in, because this sort of like tepid, well, I kind of want to do stuff, but I really don't want to do everything. It's not going to work. And then you're just in pain because you're sort of in limbo, right? So those are some things. Was that helpful, do you think?
Yeah, I would love to, well, one thing I was thinking while you were talking too is a lot of times people are afraid to narrow it down because they're thinking like, well, if I say this particular person that I help, then I'm missing out on all of these other, people. But obviously, if you are clear in your message, then that person knows that you're able to work with them, and they will then come to you, where if it's just general, they might not think that you can help them in their specific situation, right?
Exactly. There is nothing more demagnetizing than somebody saying, I do this, 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 and this. I'm like, oh, because they're afraid, they're desperate to miss out on a client, because I can do that. We can all do a lot of things. I could be a health coach if I wanted to. I know a lot about health, yet I'm not. Yet I'm not, right? We could all do a lot of things, but nobody's going to work with somebody that says, well, I'm a health coach. Oh, you don't need that, but I'm also a business coach. Oh, you don't need that. I'm a leadership coach. Yes, I have those. I'm not selling my leadership. I just have that in it. I used to, but now it's like, I am a business coach for coaches and consultants to help them maximize their sales online with organic marketing. Boom. We know exactly what I do. There is no question in anybody's mind with my marketing, with the branding, which is very simple, by the way. It's not, well, I could also be your life coach, and I could also teach you women's leadership if you want to. I could, but I don't, because I'm not afraid. And by the way, how would you even do that? It's for people that are desperate. When somebody says, I wanted to cast a wide net, I groan. That to me, in my brain, is, oh, you're afraid you're not going to get a client. Make sense? That's not smart. It is not cool to say, I want to cast a wide net. They think it's cool. It just tells the person that knows about marketing, you're not clear on your market and you're desperate. That's what I'm thinking when I hear that. Exactly what I'm thinking when I hear that.
Yep.
But they think that sounds businessy, and everybody's all trying to sound really business-y. But the key to success is to not sound business-y, because sounding business-y is very not magnetizing. To sound like I'm so businessy, that's not warm and fuzzy. That's like, oh, there's some jargon going on there. I don't think I like it. That's what people are thinking, if they don't know it. It's not impressive. Right. Nobody's impressed that you're using jargon. I try to tell my clients, get all jargon out of your messaging and be real. What are you actually doing in real words? So there's that. And so what was your question around that? Oh, niching. Yeah, there's no rule. I'm not a guru, and gurus teach rules. I don't teach rules. I teach what works. I teach what works for an individual. The niche depends on what you're doing and whether it should be large or small or medium. And there's no ruling for that. Some people have a large niche because what they're doing serves a lot of people, whether they're women, and they don't have to niche down. But, and some people have a tiny niche because what they're doing is very niched. But going at it from that angle is not helpful. That's not where the solution lies of, oh, I'll be successful if I just niche in the right way. There's so many other things that are more important that push you forward, that the niching kind of takes care of itself almost sometimes. It's not the golden key. It's getting the niche right. Sure, some consideration, obviously, but that's not it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask then too, so, a lot of people who are listening then are thinking, well, I haven't done a great job, online. I've been focused more on, other aspects of the business, but I really want to get out there and attract those clients to me. So how do I transition from maybe the type of marketing I've done before to being successful with marketing online and not having to pay for advertising that may or may not even resonate with someone?
Right. Okay. So again, offer, clear on target market, so you know where the offer is supposed to go. You have a goal. Clear on price. Sometimes the price you have to test a bit. True. Sometimes you have to test your market. Some of this needs some testing. It's not like dial it in and we're done. It's not one and done. Sometimes it's testing. And that's what people also understand. They feel like they're failures because they don't get it right away. That's not true. It just everything business. If we understand that business is just a series of tests, it changes your life. Instead of I need a home run. No, you don't need a home run. You need to test. Need to get better, do another test. It's just your life as a business person is just one series and long series of tests. That feels good, doesn't it?
Well, and I would love for you to talk about that in a little bit more detail too. Like, how do they go about testing it and making that one change and testing it again?
Sure.
Like, what is that process?
Okay, well, that depends on the person and the offer. So, but I want to answer your question because I don't want to not answer it. So you were saying, how do we transition online? Okay. This is what I did. I understood human beings are human beings wherever they are. They're human beings. And there's boxes of communication that I see them. This is my whole theory. Okay. Boxes of communication like rooms. Okay. Now there's a box of a room or space outside in the world. If you're at a marketing event or a networking event, so that's a box and you're in there talking to people in that box and you'll talk in a certain way because you're right in front of them and you're going to do it a certain way, right? And then if you're on a sales call, that's another box. You may be on a Zoom, maybe on a phone call. It's going to be a different venue as a box, right? And it is a box. You're on Zoom, all right? Or if you're on a phone call, it's not a box, but I see it as a box. Then you are in another box, which is maybe in an online networking event. That's another venue. There's going to be another way of interacting with people. Or you are in Messenger, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, chatting with somebody in the inbox. Okay? That's another box. And what people have to understand is we're all human and we have to figure out how to act in each box. So it is appropriate for the box. Does that make sense? But that does not mean that you're a completely different person. That, okay, if I'm networking, I'm not going to be spammy and rude because the person's right in front of me. But if I go online and I'm doing ads, which is another box, I'm going to spam the heck out of people and use jargon and, hey, you want to buy this? That's what's broken, is they're not congruent. They're actually saying, well, they believe because you're talking to somebody online, you can just spam them. No, you can't. You can't. You shouldn't. That doesn't work. When you treat them like human beings, other people as they are in every box, and figure out how to do that well, that's how you transition from offline. Okay. That's how you do it. It's not saying, oh, now I'm online. Now I'm going to spam everybody because I've seen that bad behavior. That's what doesn't work. And I've proven over 5 years with 500 clients that this does work. And they're like, oh, you mean I'm not supposed to spam people? Nope. No, you're not. You mean yeah, you're going to treat them like human beings? Yep. You're going to be interested? Yeah. You're still going to do the same thing that you would do at a networking event. But what you're not going to do is the bad thing at networking events, which is this. Hi, how are you? Here's my card. This is what I do. Because that was bad behavior in that box. They don't know how to use that box. Okay. So I'm not saying, oh, I do that. Well, don't do that. So it's really about how do you act with other, it's communication. And sometimes 2 words can activate somebody and say, yes, I do want to speak with you because they heard the right words. So it's really about using your emotional intelligence and training. We train people how to do this. And they're like, well, I was doing that before and I wasn't getting any clients. And now I'm working with you because we're doing it properly. It's like a basketball. If I have the basketball, Michael Jordan has a basketball, who's going to be better with that basketball? Him. Same ball.
Michael. Yep.
Same court, because he has mastery. So it's about mastering that and also getting rid of all these beliefs that you have to do this, you have to run ads, you have to have a value ladder, you have to listen to Russell Brunson every single second of the day. I didn't even know how to use Zoom when I got online. I said, don't go to my website. I had to change it and I didn't have time. Like, oh, where's your website? Oh, you don't want to look at that. And I thought, no, wait a minute. What do? I'm going to keep them on social media, get them on a call, sign them up with no ads, no funnels, no nothing. Very makeshift lead mags, by the way. Everything was just in the moment, raw. They're like, oh, I love this. So it's really about also being authentic and not pretending. I was not pretending that I was somewhere where I was not. I thought, okay, I have no help. I'm doing it myself. I'm going to do it myself. It's not going to look pretty. And they're like, oh, that's a really interesting lead mag. I said, yeah, I made it myself. don't have an assistant right now. Honest truth. So I think if you just are transparent about where you are, people appreciate that as well. Nobody's fooled by the pretending you're making money when you're not. They just,
Right.
I don't know if they care about people pretending if they're making money when they're not. It's just not right.
Perfect. Well, I'd love to go back to that testing question, because I know people maybe aren't sure how to do that and then take that information and apply it. So can you talk about how they should go about testing something, how long they should test something, and how to update something to test a different factor on that and see what works?
Okay. Well, I'll use a real life example of me. How's that? So when I got online, I did not have the right market and I didn't have the right offer, because I was transitioning from offline, which was I coached all sorts of businesses on their marketing and building them. Got online, I thought, okay, this is not, I tested that for about 7 weeks. And I had 900 conversations in Facebook Messenger. That's testing. And I also had 17 sales calls testing. And I thought, you know what? This isn't going to work. But you see that I actually tested it? Do you see I gave it a real go? I thought, this isn't going to work. This is just not going to work, because this is a lot of testing. This is not resonating with people. I thought, what can I do? And I started thinking, I need to change my market and what I'm doing. And I thought, okay. I thought, wait a minute. I have coaches and consultants, a few of them like in the mix, but they really need help. Look at all these coaches and consultants that don't know how to sell. I thought, I think that's my market. So I went from all entrepreneurs and I thought, I think this is it. I thought, yeah. And I'd resisted that. I thought, you know what? This is it, that I am going to show them. And of course, I'd done so much testing of the organic marketing and already I could tell the people, look, the first client I had, I said, look, I have not actually done this with another coach online. He goes, wait, have you had any clients with this? I said, no. He went, wait, whoa. He goes, you just didn't lie to me. I said, no, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, you would be my first client for this. But look, I've had 18 sales calls. You're the 18th, 900. And I've dialed this in, but I just didn't have the right market till now. And he goes, I'm going to hire you. He said, I love that you did. I talked to my wife. We love that you did not lie to us. That was extraordinary. He said, we were thinking this woman could have gotten an old testimonial from her 8 years of coaching. I could have. I had a lot of testimonials from before. I said, those don't matter because it's not this. He's like, that's right. I said, but this works because look, and he goes, you got me. So he said, I'm going to be your first client for this. And he immediately got a 30K client. Immediately. And he said, just working with you, the energy. And he went and got this 30th client. So do you see, it pays to be completely brutally honest. And then guess what happens? You love yourself because you're not, I would never lie, but people are taught to tell little half lies in marketing. Just say this. Right. So some clients have said to me, should I say this? And I'll go, is that true? No. Well, of course not. Don't say it. What kind of question is that? You want me to tell you to lie? I'm like, I didn't say it to them. I'm thinking that, I'm not going to tell you to lie. I'm going to tell you to be brutally honest and honest about what's going on. And say, well, listen, this is this, however, have done this. Do you want to do this or not? No, I want to work with something. Great. Let the client go. But when you get that first client, then the answer is yes, I have had a client.
Right.
The answer is yes. Everybody starts somewhere. Everyone. So if you say to a movie star who was not a movie star, they had to get their first role, right? So when they first were asked, have you had a role yet? The answer was not yet. They had to have somebody say, well, I'm going to give you a chance. Then they had the role. And you would know they're lying because they say, well, show me that movie. So, we all know you have to start somewhere, right? I think it's just understanding that you got to just believe in yourself that I'm good no matter what. And I was like, well, I've had clients offline. So, but when I've got my very, very first client offline, I said to that person, you're my first client. Cool. Well, I believe you. I trust you. Let's do this. So it's really about building the trust and that you're trustworthy so they will say yes, instead of showing them a bunch of testimonials. Now, of course, I have hundreds of testimonials. There's no trying now. It's like, here it is. They're like, wow, that's impressive. But I didn't start with that. I built that up bit by bit. People go, well, that's good for you to say, Jeanne. I said, I didn't start with that. How can you start having clients when you haven't had clients? Work that out. You can't. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Think logically. We all need to start somewhere. So just start where you are and test. And I did a huge test. You saw my test. It was painful. I thought, okay, this isn't working. It's never going to work. Not the way I want it. Changed. I thought, this is the test. This works. I found my sweet spot. Yeah.
Well, I know this has been an interesting discussion that we've been having, and I know we're getting close to the end of the time that we have together. So I wanted to ask, do you have an offer that you would like to share with our listeners and how they can contact you?
Certainly. I do have 2 offers. One is a 12-week business success accelerator program. It is group with one-on-one. It's unlimited one-on-one, and we just focus on the results. And then I also have a year, which more people are coming into than ever now. People just really want good support. And you can find me on www.jeanneomlor.com/reviews/ and you can see all these client stories and videos and just really do a deep dive. And there's a place where you can book a call on that link as well. And I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah. And do you want to spell it for anyone who might be listening?
Yes.
And
Okay.
you want to make sure we direct them to the right place.
Right. Because, yeah, JeanneOmlor.com and then /reviews/. But even if you get to JeanneOmlor.com, you'll find, testimonials.
Perfect. Is there any other way you want people to reach out to you in case they want to connect?
Sure. I mean, I'm very open. My name again, JeanneOmlor on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, JeanneOmlor@gmail.com. It's all the same to make it really simple. I like to keep things simple.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jeanne, for being a guest on my show and talking on this topic. I know listeners are going to pick up some fabulous tips from what you had to share, and I appreciate your taking the time to chat.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
And to the listener, if you found this topic interesting and you want to hear additional information, you can find access to exclusive content in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in today. Would you please share this episode with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? And if you find our show informative, would you consider being a financial sponsor to help me continue my mission to educate business owners? A link is located in the episode description, and no amount is too small. I'd really appreciate your support. If you are interested in connecting with our guest and receiving the offer they had to share, a link to our resource page is in the show notes. Finally, if you have any bookkeeping or payroll needs, reach out to us at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.